In my last video, I talked about Bungie's announcement that starting February 7th, 2018, their forums would be restricted in a way that only those who have purchased Destiny 2 and have reached the farm in the game can make posts. The announcement was met with substantial backlash from the community, as they didn't apply these restrictions to just Destiny 2 topics, but also ones irrelevant to Destiny, such as general gaming and off-topic. Keep in mind that the Bungie forums have been active since the good old Halo days, so it's not just Destiny players who hang around these parts. There's a whole other segment of the community lurking around as well, and for these people who have been with these forums for many years, it was a kick in the balls to learn that they're essentially being exiled. Following uproar against the new restrictions, it didn't take long for a Bungie community manager to respond. Here's what they said. Today, I want to share some additional thoughts on some of our forum moderation policies. Earlier this week, it was announced that forum participation requires a player to first reach the farm in Destiny 2 with their Guardian. We also offered up a reminder that our code of conduct is very much alive and well, along with the army of community volunteers, know them as the Ninjas, who are sworn to help us uphold it. While the announcement may have sparked a new conversation, none of these were new ideas. The Code of Conduct has existed in some form since 2004 or bust, serving a goal to set expectations for respectful behavior. Throughout the first years of Destiny, we had a similar minimum requirement that forum users must first reach the tower after completing the first mission. As a follow-up to the launch of Destiny 2, we still needed to update the required milestone, and we finally got around to doing that thing. Old ideas, new game. Our goals have not been censorship or monetization. We seek to provide a valuable service to our community. This website is open to all players who have taken their first step into the world of Destiny, whether you use the full retail game or the free trial as your vehicle. As a Guardian, you are welcome to track your adventure, make new friends in groups, form up into teams as a clan, or just speak your mind on the forum. We're not taking any steps to remove negative feedback about Destiny 2. In fact, if you have expressed a desire to see something added to the game, it's very likely that it's itemized on our development roadmap. If it's not, lend your voice to the feedback forum. All we ask is that you meet us halfway as a player. Your community team is committed to the experience here. We can always do a better job of providing a respectable place where people can express sincere opinions about the games they play that we create. It's true that there are forums on Bungie.net that have nothing to do with Destiny, but we believe that a player who is invested in the game we share is likelier to respect the forum and the community that we share. Alright, so first things first, I'll reiterate what I said in my last video, which is that I can kind of understand the idea of restricting extensive lore and gameplay discussion surrounding Destiny 2 for those who have actually played the game. I don't necessarily agree with it, since I think there can be onlookers who may have substantial feedback to contribute, or who may be looking to receive feedback about the game. And since the timing of enacting these restrictions all too conveniently lines up with the recent uproar against the now disgraced Destiny 2, giving the impression that Bungie is trying to skew the conversation in some way or censor aspects of it. But assuming that I give them the benefit of the doubt, I can understand the notion that if you want to have an in-depth discussion about the game in the official forums, you should at least have played the game, even if a little bit. Perhaps they could have handled it better by having the forums differentiate users who purchased and played the game versus those who haven't through labels like Steam does, or by creating separate Destiny 2 discussion and feedback sections in which only those who have played the game can access, while leaving the other stuff intact. But it seems as though Bungie intends to cut ties with all extraneous elements and have their forums focus entirely on what little remains of the Destiny 2 community, for better or for worse. Granted, there are other substantial Destiny forums out there on the internet, like the Destiny subreddit, where one can go if they want to leave or receive feedback, regardless of whether they have played or purchased Destiny 2 or not, which is why I think that if Bungie's new restrictions were only confined to Destiny 2 related topics, this wouldn't really be a big issue. But what a lot of people still have trouble understanding is why non-Destiny sections like gaming and off-topic, which house their own little sub-communities of players who may or may not have purchased Destiny 2, are also being restricted to be accessible to Destiny 2 players only. Bungie's latest response vaguely touches upon this, stating, quote, "It's true that there are forums on Bungie.net that have nothing to do with Destiny, but we believe that a player who is invested in the game we share is likelier to respect the forum and the community that we share." But that excuse doesn't even make sense when you consider that not even those who bought Destiny 1 can access gaming or off-topic. Even Destiny 1 players are outcasts, apparently. They're essentially closing off all of the most noteworthy non-Destiny hubs in the Bungie forums to be exclusive to those who purchased Destiny 2 or played the free trial. It isn't hard to see why it might feel like a middle finger to those who have been supporting Bungie and been part of this community since the Halo days, or even those who supported the first Destiny, which isn't even that old of a game. This would be an easier pill to swallow if the forum in question would have been a separate Destiny 2 forum that was specifically created from the outset to be entirely focused on Destiny 2, but the fact remains that this is the Bungie forums and its origins extend far beyond Destiny. It started out as a place where the Bungie community and onlookers could gather and discuss both Bungie games and other topics. So for them to suddenly change the forum's identity and even go as far as restricting access to gaming and off-topic right after Backlash peaked, Backlash of Bungie's own making, seems excessive and all too convenient. Bungie says that it's not about censorship or monetization, but when you consider the timing of these new restrictions and the extent to which they're being applied, I can understand why so many community members might have doubts about the studio's intentions with all this. I get why it might feel as though the studio is abandoning those who haven't paid the fee of boarding the USS Destiny 2, a ship that has been slowly sinking throughout the past 5 months and only recently started patching some of the holes. Don't get me wrong, I don't disagree that regulations that can filter the good crowds from the toxic ones are vital to any forum, but there are ways to handle it without casting such a large net that bystanders might get caught up in it. Not to mention that during a time in which the Destiny and Bungie community has become disillusioned by Bungie's pattern of underhanded schemes, the studio couldn't have picked a worse time to give off all the wrong impressions with the way they're dealing with the flurry of negative feedback in their forums. I'm all for Bungie trying to reel things back in the forums as they have become somewhat chaotic over the past few months, but the lengths to which they've gone can certainly be seen by many as suspect. These are just one man's thoughts and opinions though. I'd love to hear your take on all of this in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video informative, and if you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. It is completely optional, but even donating as little as $1 a month will go a long way in helping this channel grow. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out!